He caught it. Hey. In terms of just the atmosphere, everything looks great. It's all set up for the fans.
Let's have some fun.
Today's the first day of training camp. Man, it's always good to be back. It's always a breath of fresh air. Get back out here, get some fans out here, get a little energy. So it was fun to be out there today.
The energy is high. The confidence is high going into OTAs and going to training camp. You can see now that these guys are hungry, ready to prove it.
That's it, TV.
What up, y'all? First day. We want to be out here. We want to be close.
The most important thing is just to compete and to go out here and have fun. And winning is fun. So it's all about competition, and it's all about getting better each and every day.
Oh, hey, good.
This is the time we do a training camp. Just O-line, running backs, quarterbacks just working together, just getting that timing down.
I know it's exciting for the guys in the locker room as well to get back on the field and play real football.
That's a good first day, fellas. It's a good first day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Patriots All Access, presented by Geico. I'm Steve Burton. A new coach and a new coaching staff are ready to put their stamp on a brand new team. Jerod Mayo and his coaches will use the first few days of camp to get ready, to ramp up the club before they put the pads on for real next week. Real football is right around the corner. Dan Roach reports as training camp begins.
The 2024 season is underway under new leadership. And for the players, it's a fresh start.
Man, it's always good to be back. It's always just breath of fresh air. Get back out here, get some fans out here, get a little energy. So it was fun to be out there today.
Yeah, I would say it's like the first day of school when you got gym class, just a lot of energy, running around. Really good feeling. First day, energy was high. Everybody got out there today and we had a good result.
Training camp is a time to put the work in. Fundamentals are everything in trying to build a contending team.
Well, laying the foundation is just like with anything you do, you have to have a solid base, Get your routine, stay disciplined day in, day out. And if you have a solid foundation, you can build on top of that.
The NFL remains a coach-quarterback league, and there are new people in both of these spots, starting with new head coach Jerod Mayo.
It's different. It's a different vibe, of course, You can see a lot of people smiling nowadays and laughing and giggling, but I think it just still comes down to playing football.
As for the quarterback, there are lots of eyes on number 3 overall pick, Drake May.
He did a great job in the spring. He does a great job in the meetings. I mean, he's learning a lot. He has a great vet in Jacoby in the room. He has some great coaches around him, and AVP and TC. A lot of guys that are, putting good things in his head, teaching him a lot of things, and a lot of things that he can bounce off those guys that's going to help him a lot.
This Patriots team is coming off a tough 4-13 season, and no one's picking them to do much better in 2024.
I don't really care about the outside noise. There's great parity in the league. Anybody can be beat on any given Sunday if they don't execute. So, we're focusing on the fundamentals right now.
And this Patriots defense is looking forward to picking up where they left off last year. And Steve, what excites, I think, everyone is the fact that Christian Gonzalez and Matthew Judon, both missing most of the year with injuries, they're back to help this D.
All right, what about on the offensive side? What did you observe?
A quick thing that I think explains everything. Joe Milton, the rookie quarterback, calling to Jaheim Bell, the tight end, to play. Had him move, wouldn't move, finally got him over to move, and Bell moved, and he was kicked out. After that, Jerod Mayo came over to him, quick conversation, moved on. An evolving product, this offense. Patience, as Mayo has said.
Yeah, Mayo's not playing around either.
No.
Getting it done. All right, Roachy, good job.
Nice to see you.
All right, nice to see you.
Happy football.
Thank you. We'll be back more at Patriots All Access right after this.
Coming up on All Access.
A conversation with head coach Jerod Mayo.
Once you get here, this is one of those milestones where I'm like, I'm actually the head coach of the New England Patriots.
You're watching Patriots All Access.
Brought to you by Cross Insurance, the official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By Bank of America, official bank of the New England Patriots.
Push out of there. Push out of there. Set. That's better. Hey, that's better though.
Jerod Mayo is the 15th head coach in franchise history. Mayo is also one of 4 coaches in franchise history that also played in the NFL. Mayo is the first former Patriots player to ever coach the team.
Hey, this is not the motion. It's this. It's this. Down, up. Down, up. You should be able to hear it, though. You hear it? Listen to that. Hey, we should be able to hear that snap on the bag. That's a 300-pound guy you're dealing with.
All right, welcome back to Patriots All Access with head coach Jerod Mayo. Jerod, it's great to see you. And,
great to see you as well.
Last time I talked to you, going all the way back to the beginning of the offseason, press conferences, draft, all that stuff, free agency, a lot of planning to get to this point. You got ball now. This is where you love it, right?
Absolutely. I love being out on the field, and just the excitement of the players kind of just trickles around the entire building. And those guys came out today and they worked hard. So excited to be.
A lot of people talk. Okay, what's the concept going to be? What's the flow going to be? Last time I talked to you, you said I got to remind myself to go watch the offense a little bit, being a defensive guy. But you feel like you're getting the balance down here. You got a couple mini camps under your belt.
No, absolutely. In the spring, that's one thing. But once you get here, like this is one of those milestones where I'm like, I'm actually the head coach of the New England Patriots. And then once we put the pads on, that'll be another first time. So the flow's been good. The schedule has been good. I would say, kudos to the rest of the staff with their input. They help it run.
The fans that come out, we sit here, we cover it for radio. I get to watch every practice. Fans come out to watch. What are they going to see if they come out to see Patriots training camp?
Well, hopefully when they come out here, they'll see the defense making plays. They'll see the offense making plays. Special teams at times will make plays. We don't want one side just dominating each and every practice. And I would say, on day one, I thought the offense really went out there and competed. They had a few big plays. And I would also say the defense had some big plays as well. So that's what you want practice to be. There'll be times where, one side of the ball dominates the other, but you don't want to have too many of those.
You've got a lot of responsibilities. Scheduling is one of them. I want to go back to something you said at the beginning of the week, the word undulating. You have an undulating schedule. Does that keep the players on their toes, the organization, the coaching staff?
Yeah, it definitely does. And I would also say, with those shorter practices, you should see a bump in speed and just overall intensity. One thing I will say that's going to be a little bit different this year, we'll have more team periods. We'll have our individual periods, but really it's all about competition. It's about going out there 11 v 11 and just seeing who's going to make this team.
What looks like a good practice to you as a head coach?
Yeah, good practice, like both sides of the ball, really making plays. And I would also say, when it gets tough, how do the players respond? When it gets tough, how do the coaches respond? Because once again, it's one thing to be in the classroom. It's another thing to be out here, 11:30 or noon in New England, and the temperature's hot. Like, how do they respond and how we build that mental toughness? That's definitely a big part.
So a good practice, then a good training camp. Would you say it's stacking those practices together?
Day after day after day. And I tell those guys, you have to, let's go back to fundamentals. I mean, it gets boring sometimes doing the same thing over and over and over again, but at the same time, you need to give it all your effort, and we should see you getting better as the course of training camp continues to go on.
Expectations, and I know you hate putting a number on it. I'm not asking you to put a number on it, but just expectations for the organization.
Yeah, my expectation is that everyone in the organization, players, coaches, staff, everyone is pulling in the same direction, and that direction is to win football games. It's all about wins and losses when it's all said and done. Now, in saying that, we continue to talk about the process, and that's what we're doing now in training camp. It's the process, then it's the progress that you make through the process, and then the payoff comes at the end.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you every week on TV and radio, and it's
be great.
These games, man. We're gonna have some fun this year.
Hey, I'm excited as well.
Have a great camp. There's your head coach. Welcome back to Patriots All Access, everyone. Joining me now is Patriots quarterback Jacoby Brissett. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Back here for the second time around. What's it like being back for the second time around?
It's been good. Obviously a lot of familiar faces, but it's just like that rookie all over again. And the excitement, the anxiousness, the nerves are still there. But it's been good. It's been a good, obviously OTAs and starting off training camp has been good.
8 years ago.
Yep.
You were here. 8 quick years, and
Yeah.
now you're back. What's the difference? What are you seeing different? How have you grown in those 8 years?
A lot. On the field, off the field. You know, it's so much growth that's happened in those 8 years to put into a short amount of words, but just understanding football more, obviously being around a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches, and learning, you know, and being green and trying to learn as much as possible throughout my years, and excited for this year to learn some more.
Jerod Mayo named you the starter. What does that mean to you?
It's a lot of responsibility, you know, and you know, it's my job to come out here every day and prove why that's the right decision. And, you know, I've always believed in myself as a starter, no matter where I was in my career, and you know, that doesn't change this year.
They also drafted Drake May. You know him. We all know him. What's your role in developing him, even though you want to be the guy?
Yeah, I think he still can be a good teammate. You know, I don't think that changes. You know, I've been in this league around a lot of other quarterbacks in a lot of different situations, and it's always been, you know, you help the guys in your room because you want your room to be the best room possible. And you know, and being a good teammate is something that I you know, I hold to a great you know, responsibility, and I take pride in that, and that won't change no matter my role this year, the year after, years before. You know, I think being a good teammate is that should be your role no matter what position you are in this league.
Great point by you. You've experienced an Alex Van Pelt offense. Tell us, because we've been so used to one offense over the years.
Yeah.
How is this offense different?
You know, it's a lot more variables, you know, a lot more shifts and motions, you know, a lot more personnel changes, doing a lot of different things, a lot of different groups. And what all offenses try to do is try to maximize what they can with what we have, you know. And you know, AVP does a really good job of that. You know, back to my year in Cleveland, you know, is being able to be versatile and be multiple, and you know, attack the defense at all points of the game.
And you got to be able to throw on the run, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Which is what you do.
Yep.
The dog days of training camp, my friend.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Jacoby Brissett, I guess we'll be back with more Patriots All Access right after this.
You're watching Patriots All Access.
Brought to you by Bank of America, official bank of the New England Patriots. By Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Coming this fall, offensive lineman Mike Owenu reflects on his family's unique heritage.
It shaped me in the right ways. Little things add up to big things.
And how the big house prepared him for a career in the National Football League.
You know, I always knew I had talent, but I didn't know how far I would go with it.
The streets of Philadelphia were anything but easy for Christian Barmore to escape.
I don't want to be a regular guy. I want to make history for myself and make my name be known. You know what I'm saying?
Find out Barmore's unlikely path to the NFL.
This is where I came from. You know, where I am today, you know? Yeah.
Welcome back to Patriots All Access, everyone. Time now for our panel discussion with Mike Reese and Paul Perillo. We're talking training camp, and for the first time in, 25 years, no Bill Belichick, no Tom Brady. It's a different era. But what did you guys observe today?
Yeah, it is different. That is the operative word, Steve. And right down to the time that they practice. We've sort of become accustomed to early morning practices. Jerod wanted to push it back a little bit to 11 o'clock. And the amount of work, he even talked about, Mike, you know, the length of the practices, you know, could change from day to day. You know, on day one, it was about 90 minutes. He said it could fluctuate from day to day. So just, it's a different vibe, Steve.
You're seeing like the personal stamp that Jerod is putting on things, such as playing music throughout practice, whereas with Bill Belichick, it used to be in certain parts of practice. But I would say this, like one thing that stays the same, I went out to the gates before the first practice, and you got fans showing up at 6:30. 6:45 in the morning to be the first through the gates. That part's the same. People are
hold on, I have a
excited
question.
to have their team back.
You were there that early?
No, I wasn't there that early. I just asked them what time they arrived.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
He was busy getting the set list because Mike always breaks down the music too.
That's right.
The quarterback situation. Jacoby Brissett has been named the starter. What does that mean?
I think it means a lot, actually, coming out of the spring. Now, Jerod Mayo specifically said, coming out of the spring, it really wasn't much of a question. He's the most pro-ready guy. Jacoby Brissett is the starter. I think that means a lot. That's what he was brought here for, Mike. He wants to be sort of a placeholder, but also a mentor. So I do think there's a lot that goes into that. I don't think it sort of ends the competition by any means, but to me, that was significant.
And Paul, you say it means a lot, and I think one part of that a lot is that it takes the pressure off Drake May. Like, unlike Chicago, where they're saying, Caleb Williams, you're a guy from day one. For Drake, it allows him to grow, and Jerod Mayo has talked about how it's not going to be a straight line going up all the time. To have some of the ups and downs without the pressure of feeling like he's the number one guy.
What if Jacoby Brissett pulls a Geno Smith? Geno Smith 2 years ago for the Seattle Seahawks tore it up, okay? No one was expecting him to.
Right.
All of a sudden, he's been in the league a few years, several years, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he lights it up that year. What if Brissett does the same thing?
So I do think that's an interesting scenario, and that's probably the mindset that Jacoby Brissett should have. He's here for 1 year. If he plays really well and he holds off Drake May for the whole year or even most of it, he will put himself in a position, Mike, where someone's going to be interested in him as a bridge guy, maybe going forward, or maybe even more than that if he can do what Geno Smith did. He has an opportunity to get another contract somewhere else.
I think that would be a great scenario for the Patriots, because if Jacoby Brissett lights it up, to use Jerod Mayo's words for Drake May, that means the team is competitive, it's possibly winning games, and it's giving Drake May more developmental time like Jordan Love got in Green Bay, and look what Jordan Love's doing.
Great point. What if Drake May, or does Drake May, have a chance to unseat Jacoby before the first game right here in training camp?
Again, you want to talk about the differences, okay? Well, Jerod Mayo specifically said yes to that question. He can come out here, light it up during training camp over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and he can win the job. So I take him at face value. I think it is an open competition. I would certainly put that in a smaller percentage category of happening for day one, for week one. But yeah, I think he has an opportunity to come out here and light it up.
Agree, and we saw a glimpse of it on the first day. I mean, a beautiful deep pass, May to Jalen Reagor. Reagor reaching out, one-handed catch. Crowd goes nuts. So to me, plays like that, Steve, if we see those on a day-to-day basis from Drake May, then maybe that discussion starts to pick up steam.
They're not going to put the pads on for a few days, at least a little bit. What should fans expect? What should they be looking for without the pads?
Yeah, it is difficult to sort of get the competition, ramped up when they don't have the pads. I look at the two young wide receivers, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. I have my eye on them because I think that's a position where they need a boost of talent and athleticism. I think with Polk, there's a lot of talent there, and I think with Baker, there's some electricity. So those two guys I keep an eye on.
So they're your weapons.
Yeah.
And to me, I'd say who's defending those weapons. We get to this point in the segment. We haven't even talked about the defense, right? Because so many of the questions are on the offense. Like Jonathan Jones, first practice, getting his hand on a ball intended for Polk, pops up in the air. Kyle Duggar intercepts it. The defense picking up where it left off. So how good they were last year, Steve. If they were complemented a little bit more by the offense, maybe it's a different story. So keep an eye on the defense is what I'm trying to say.
One last say before I let you go. Is it strange? Is this whole thing strange?
Yeah, I feel like there's something missing. For sure. It's just different. It is.
For sure.
All right, guys.
Great stuff, Steve.
All the way around. That will do it for this edition of Patriots All Access. For Mike Reese and Paul Perillo, I'm Steve Burton. Have a great week, everybody.